Good evening. This is CTV News for Tuesday, July 11th. I'm Denise Douglas.
And I'm Patricia Ballone. Glad to have you with us tonight. Well, the FBI headquarters won't be coming to Prince George's County. That announcement coming from the General Services Administration and the FBI.
In fact, the project has been completely canceled. Both Maryland and Virginia officials have been vying for it for a decade. Rochelle Metzger has been following this story all day and is here to tell us what happened here.
Denise, Patty, this news came as a shock to county lawmakers as well as federal lawmakers who say Congress has taken definitive action over the years to make sure this project stayed on track. So when news came today, they got together and they're calling on the Trump administration to reconsider. The GSA says a funding gap of $882 million is the reason it's scrapping plans to build a new FBI headquarters. The project has been in the works for years after a GSA report found the current J. Edgar Hoover building to be too small, run down, and a security risk. As the three final choices for sites being in Prince George's and Fairfax counties, local leaders say immense resources have already been spent. Lawmakers on the Hill are calling the decision an abuse of power by the Trump administration.
There's over $1.4 billion that has already been made available for the consolidation of the headquarters. There is no conceivable possible way that that money could be spent within the next 15 or 16 months. So there's adequate revenues available.
I look forward to working with Senator Cardin and our colleagues in the House in the upcoming appropriations process, both to make sure that we do provide the funding to go forward, but also to demand the documents from the GSA as to what was behind this decision. This decision just does not make sense.
It's a broken promise by President Trump, both to strengthen our national security and invest in infrastructure, because this FBI relocation would have done both of those.
They made the down payment. And so the excuse that we heard today was they didn't have enough money, all the money at once, to go ahead with the project. That simply does not hold water. The Trump administration made a decision that would jeopardize and put in danger men and women who work in the FBI building now. It will cost the American taxpayers more dollars.
The GSA issued a statement that said, in part, moving forward without full funding puts the government at risk for cost escalations. Now, the cancellation of the project does not lessen the need for a new FBI headquarters. It goes on to say the agency will work with the FBI to address the Bureau's space needs.
Wow, like we said, a lot of vying for this project, and now this. What's next here?
Well, Senator Cardin, who's kind of the senior leader on Maryland's congressional delegation, says that they're looking at their options as the legislative branch, the policymakers. He says members of the delegation sit on some very powerful committees. So he says there's some oversight opportunities they can take advantage of, and there is leverage, he said, that they plan to use. So they don't plan to take no.
All right. Thanks, Rochelle.
Thank you. A double shooting in Forestville leaves one man dead and another in the hospital. These are the latest in a string of homicides in the last few weeks in the county. Officers were called to the 1500 block of Forest Park Drive early this morning for the shooting.
One of those men was unfortunately pronounced dead on the scene. At this time, our detectives are still trying to piece together exactly what happened. The one victim that is surviving at this time is hospitalized, and at this time, we do believe his injuries are non-life-threatening.
Anyone with information on this incident is asked to contact police at 1-800-411-TIPS. Another quick note here, Police Chief Hank Stawinski has increased patrols as a result of the recent spike in homicides.
When it comes to car crashes, 888 Mid-Atlantic says we are our own worst enemy. Single vehicle accidents account for the largest segment of collision fatalities. John Townsend says the percentage of people dying in single vehicle crashes in Maryland exceeds the national average. He adds that more than half of the traffic deaths involve one vehicle.
When there's no evidence of impairment in the blood, or in the bloodstream, that tells us that the person was most likely distracted or driving drowsy, or suffered from driver inattention. They looked away for a second, took their eyes off the road, ran into that telephone pole, ran into that ditch, And in some cases, and we know this in October and November in this region, that many people crash because they see a deer in the road. So that tells us something of very paramount importance, and that is to keep both eyes on the road and to keep both hands on the steering wheel.
And Townsend stresses that motorists need to always pay attention and be aware of their surroundings.